got licensed professional mental health counselor, our resident therapist right here. I love this guy, man. He flies all over the country, man, for the people. Give it up for David Weber is in the building.
Hey, D-Web.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. What's up? What's up?
Happy to have you.
I love that white crew neck on you. It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
it.
What's
Thank
that,
you.
Ralph?
Yes, Ralph.
Okay.
Why are you saying like that?
Still referring to that Kanye.
Shout out to Ye. Hey, and shout out to your parents. The Weber family.
Yeah, the Weber family, yes.
Yeah, the Weber family. Chris took me in his home. I like telling this story once. And I went fishing on his pier and caught the first bass because I know he can't fish. You know.
Wow, Sway.
The brides and reels had rust on them, you know.
Not the rust.
He didn't have fishing line. He had yarn in his reels. But I was still.
You know Chris going to end up calling here to get you. He going to get you.
Chris will get dunked on. He better. But David, his brother, but you and your parents are amazing, you know, and I want to shout them out. I know do they tune in to you when
they tune in? They in the car right now, listen to the show. What's up, Mom? What's up, Dad?
Oh,
they've been married. Their anniversary's coming up. 54 years. They'll be married.
What?
54 years.
54 years.
Oh
So
my
shout out to
gosh,
them.
what a blessing.
Tell them write a book, bro.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they listening in the car?
Because technology. Anything technology, they don't,
Hey, guys.
downloading on the phone. They in the car right now.
I know the Weber family. I know y'all still talking on telephones with cans and long strings, but technology has advanced. If you like, Chris, I'll get you the app, man. It's cool, man. Put it on your phone. Y'all ain't got to leave.
You can listen in the house.
They're just plopped in
Chris
the
in
car
the car,
that they was
too.
driving.
Yeah.
Wait, Chris is in the car
Chris
too?
is definitely in the car right now with his wife
Come
and
on.
kids. They
Man,
listen
shout
the
out to
show.
E, shout out to Erica, shout out to C, Chris, the kids. Yo, beautiful family. Y'all got to get the app. Sway, hook them up.
I had no idea that in 2025 they feel like they got Chris got the whole family in the car.
Yeah, everybody in the car.
They got a picnic basket and blankets. Okay, but let's get back to business. All right. So I want to, before we take these calls about forgiveness, I want to get back to the Chris Rock, and I really appreciate his response and his statement about forgiveness. What do you think it would do to the collective mental health of the community to see Chris and Will sit down in front of a camera and folks could see them come back together and talk that out and speak about forgiveness and go back and forth, not on the Oscar stage, just on their own stage.
I like that. Conflict
That would be great. Kind of like what Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas did. It was powerful. It was powerful.
Right.
That type of, first off, forgiveness doesn't erase the memory.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I still remember what you did, but for him to say he lives in forgiveness, that's incredible. I don't know if I reached that point where I live in forgiveness. That's something different. I can forgive you. It may take me a little bit of time, but living in forgiveness is a next level. And so definitely big shout out to him for even being able to say that and speak that. And I hope everyone heard that because I definitely heard that today.
How can it counteract the impact of seeing that moment over and over and over and over and over and over and on all media outlets for so long? The zeitgeist of the community had to be damaged, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you know how our community is, right? Like we're going to post it and repost it and people going to talk about it and everyone has their opinions about it. But the actual person who was harmed is saying he forgave him. So if that person forgave him, then who are we to be still holding grudges and those types of things? So I think it's powerful.
David Sway, citizens, I find it interesting that Will is in this predicament again. If you guys remember the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion, he had to do a separate sit-down with the original Aunt Viv, the fabulous Jeanette Dubois, who he, admitted at his time where he was, a big star. He had, the power, if you will, for lack of a better word, to kind of put in and out who he wanted to. And she ultimately was fired from that show and replaced by someone else. And that damaged her. She said she was blacklisted. She wasn't able to work and do a lot of things. So he had to go off and then have a separate conversation about forgiveness with her. And to Tracy's and Sway's point, that wasn't really put out there a lot either. I remember seeing it because I was blown away by her being replaced on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Everybody loved the original Aunt Viv, but their conversation was so powerful and it just didn't, we needed to see more of that. Yeah, we needed to
see that.
Absolutely, more of it.
The representation, the visual of it.
Yeah,
right?
A man and woman sitting down talking about forgiveness.
Yeah, but
go.
also the practice of it. Because a lot of folks may not have in their toolkit like the communication or even understand like the power of the environment and how that can create a space that fosters vulnerability. Can you speak on maybe some tools, Dave, that can help with bridging the gap and creating conflict resolution?
Yeah. First off, if you need an apology to be able to forgive, you'll be waiting forever. Right. Sometimes you don't get the apology. Your mother's not going to apologize for what she did 25 years ago, and you've still been waiting for that apology from your mother. You're still waiting for the apology from your father and what he did to you, or that friend who stole from you or lied on you. If your forgiveness is predicated upon that person saying, I'm sorry, that may not come. So it has to be something internal within you that says, you know what, regardless of what they do or don't do, regardless of whether or not they apologize or don't apologize, I'm choosing to forgive you for myself, for my own peace of mind. That is difficult to do, but it's necessary because you're not going to get what you need from them, or at least what you think you need from them to forgive them. Yeah. So that has to come from within yourself.
Wow, man, that's David Weber. Listen, if you're looking for an amazing therapist, and you may never have tried one, he comes to, he flies out here for the people, but you don't have to be in the same town, right, to work with you.
Yeah, no, definitely not. You can, first off, hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions or need resources in your area. That's David Weber _LPC. I'm licensed in several different states. Just hit me up, and we can find some therapy for you. And a quick story: I hadn't even met a therapist until I became a therapist.
Okay.
I never even met one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know there's many people out there just like me who's never met a therapist. You never talked to a therapist. You imagine a person with a briefcase and a blazer. I don't have a briefcase and I don't wear blazers normally, right? So there are regular, normal people who have the training to help you get through whatever it is you're going through. And so if you haven't met a therapist, if you've never spoken to a therapist, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to one. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions.
That's David Weber _LPC.
Correct.
All right. Listen, we're going to go to the phone lines. Thank you for that, David. And so, Tracy, once again, the question is?
Yeah, citizens, can you relate to living in forgiveness like Chris Rock? How is it going for you?
Jim is on the line from California.
Hey,
Welcome
Jim.
to the show, Jim. How you doing?
Hey, Jim, like a stone?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Jim, like short for James. Yes. What up, Jim? How you doing?
Here.
But Jim's here. Give it up for Jim.
Jim.
What up, Jim? Jimmy.
Okay.
Jim's
The
like
J, the I,
dumbbell.
the M, the M.
Hold up, everybody. It's Tim,
Okay.
T-I-M.
Oh, wow.
Sway.
Look at Sway, we both wrong. Yay.
Timmy.
Yo, we just did a whole soliloquy on your name, man. That was
And you got it wrong, Sway.
Tim. How you doing? Talk.
But they call me Chi-Chi, okay? I'm from West Hollywood.
Chi-Chi?
Chi-Chi.
You-
T-T.
T-T. Okay. All right.
Yes.
T-T. Do you love me?
I love you all. Heather B, Stace, and Sway, we're from the same time era. You guys are my role models, and I value and appreciate you so much. I'm a biracial, openly gay man. My father is black, and 3/4 white, 1/4 black. I grew up. I looked funny. People saw me, and they didn't know how to react, so I got a lot of hate thrown at me throughout my whole life. And it really felt bad. I didn't know how to handle it until I got, my 20s and 30s. And then I finally understood that in order for me to be whole, in order for me to feel comfortable and in my own place in the world, I had to realize I have to forgive them because they're doing what they thought they had to do. And it takes I think a really strong understanding to know that when people, they hate and they throw hate and they call you names and they do the bullying thing, they're doing what they think they have to do. I can't hold that against them. So I forgive them. Imagine, if you will, standing straight, tall, and your hands are balled up in a fist. Forgiveness has a lot of religious connotations to it. We can't blame society. We're raised that way to think that forgiveness may have Bible or something religious to it. Forgiveness doesn't mean anything like that. Forgiveness means taking your fists that are balled up in the side of you and just letting them go. It's a process of just letting go. For me, it was taking the fear, the anger, and just letting it go.
Can you speak to? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
What that basically means is that I don't feel the hate towards these people who hurt me because I have a different color skin, that I have a bigger nose that's abnormal for a white person, that my hair was a little kinkier than a white person usually is. I have to forgive them, so that forgiveness is a dichotomy. It's a two-part word. It's a healing process. To forgive them is to forgive myself at the same time. It's taking medicine. It's like ingesting medicine. Dr. Weber, I think you understand. Forgiveness is not just something that we do. We always remember it. We'll never forget. We hope we'll forget. But it's about letting go. It's about letting them go and letting myself go. I want to live in a world of love and peace, everybody, and to live in that world, I have to be a man of love and peace, and that means to forgive. And I'm free.
Wow.
I would like to add, thank you, Tim, for your vulnerability and sharing. David, I would like to add another layer to that, to add something, because I understood everything Tim was saying, but I would have to say for me, and maybe everybody forgives differently, but it was much more of a spiritual experience, and it was a spiritual thing for me. It was my grandmother years ago, God rest her soul, who told me that once I started to forgive, that I would become healthier. Spiritually healthier, physically healthier, a lot of things. Mentally healthier. And she was like, you have to build your relationship with God. And I didn't understand that. And I just thought she is again throwing his Bible at me. But she was right. It took me a long time to learn that, but she was right. And I had to go within and build my relationship. So for everyone, because Tim had a different experience with forgiveness, mine was much more spiritual, but I understand what Tim is saying, though, if that makes sense. I understand his route. And but my route for forgiveness, I had to seek spiritual guidance for that. It was all about rebuilding my relationship with God.
Yeah. Me too. I forgiveness doesn't come easily to me. I'm being honest with you. I'm being 100% honest. I'm being too honest, maybe.
No.
It doesn't come easily, particularly when I didn't do nothing to you.
Yes.
I did nothing to you, and you have the nerve to do that to me. You steal from me.
Yep. Come on.
I'm your friend.
Come on.
Why would you do that to me? So that's hurtful. So watch this. So for me, the forgiveness is not a one-time thing for the same incident. It's, I forgive you today. I may be angry in 4 days.
Yeah.
I forgive you again. I may be angry a week later. I forgive you again. So every time it comes up, I have to re-forgive you again for the
70
same
times 7.
thing.
Yes.
So I don't know, maybe there are people who can just forgive you one time and they never think about it again.
Yeah.
But for me, it's going to take me multiple times
Can I add something?
to forgive.
Can I add something, Dr. Weber?
Go ahead,
can I
TT.
add something? Also, the forgiveness is so important for me in my life. I work in business, but I'm also completing my second master's in psychology, early childhood
congrats.
Give that man a round of applause.
Let's get it, TT. Yes.
Yes.
Wait.
2 years ago, I finished my first master's online, Southern New Hampshire University in general psychology. I didn't get enough, so I went back and finished. I'm in a second master's, early childhood development. I'll graduate at the end of this year. And what that means is that I'm going through all this educational, and I'll graduate summa cum laude, too, for a biracial man. That's a very big accomplishment.
You're very exceptional, Tim.
Thank you. Heather, whoever.
Where you at, Tim? Tim, what city are you in? What
He
city?
said West Hollywood.
West Hollywood.
WeHo.
All right, come up, man. We got 45 minutes left. You want to come up to the show?
Oh, wow.
Where are
Tim?
you? Are you in West Hollywood too?
West Hollywood.
We're in West Hollywood. Listen,
I know. You guys
know
are
where
off
it is.
La Brea and Willoughby.
Yes, exactly.
Sirius XL.
It's Googleable.
How close are
will,
you?
Well, I'm driving through Beverly Hills on my way to work to West LA right now.
Go get your money. Yeah, another time.
Yes,
Go get
let
your
me
money.
just say one thing about the religious thing, about, believing in God. The thing is that forgiveness can be, it's a long process. Listen, imagine the woman who was raped as a child, and she has to carry this anger, hurt, and all these mixed emotions throughout her whole life. An easy solution would be to forgive, but you can't. Dr. Weber is right. You just don't forgive in one shot. It's not a one-shot deal. It's a process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let it
Tim,
go.
let it go. And I can relate to Tim because I've had to do a lot of forgiveness myself over the years. My partner King Tech and I, we were so.
Y'all forgave too many people now. I mean, hang on to some hate. Excuse me, I didn't mean that in front of you.
Heather,
Dave, hang on to a little bit.
That's counterproductive, Heather. But I and Tech and I are totally different. Well, we're very different. It's amazing that we probably have one of the longest running
100%
relationships,
brotherhoods
and hip hop. And I'm different. I know, like Tim, the moment I forgive these folks, I feel that release. I feel the freedom. I let it go, bro.
Yes.
Because if I hold on to it, then I'm stuck. I'm stagnant in that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've learned to let it go. I don't fuck with them no more on that level. You know what I mean? I can see them in public and be cool, but we don't mesh the same necessarily unless you I'm not only am I forgiving, I also give people a chance to redeem, right? And so, but when I do, go ahead.
Watch your posture. When you forgive, you'll suddenly maybe stand up a little straighter. Your breathing might be a little bit more regulated.
You get healthier.
It's true.
You get healthier.
You feel free.
Yeah.
So to the citizens, practice that forgiveness. See where it takes you.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Then call David Weber.
Yeah.
Hey, TT, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You got an incredible life. You're a powerful human being. Thank you for calling, okay? All right.
My citizen
You
now.
a citizen.
Super citizen of Sway in the morning, TT. God bless you. Oh my gosh, I saw Sway, baby, a citizen.
I love you all.
Love you too, man.
Bye,
Hey,
bye.
have a great day. Hey, listen, we got so many people on the line, Tracy, talking about want to talk to that about their story of forgiveness. Let's extend this celebrity wire.
Let's do it.
And we
my
got
gosh,
David
I would
Weber
love
here.
That.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do it.
I would
Okay.
also love to share a practice that's helped me with forgiveness too. I think it would be useful to the citizens.
That's next. Sway in the morning, Shade 4 or 5. All right, Tracy G.
Yes, sir.
Powerful topic. Lines have lit up, man. Heather B just said, I said, look at the lines. So many people calling, and you said.
Because this is a topic and a conversation that everyone can relate to. We're all, whether we want to admit it or not, are holding on to something. Yeah.
And this is stemming from Tracy brought up a story about Chris Rock.
Absolutely. And Chris Rock was asked if there was any chance he would be a third-time host for the Oscars, following what happened in the past where Will Smith, in defense of his wife, Jada, went on stage and assaulted him in front of the world to see. And he said that he lives in forgiveness. And we also know that Will Smith is someone who operates with a lot of emotional intelligence. And he's spoken about his process of forgiving himself. So there's two forms of forgiveness that we're highlighting now, the forgiveness of others and the forgiveness of self. But they all come from within.
My man Eddie is in Florida who says he chooses to live in forgiveness. Eddie, talk to us, man. Welcome to the show. Eddie's on the line, y'all.
What up, Ed?
Eddie.
Hey, first time caller, man. First time caller.
Every day.
Get it, Ed.
Wow, I
Hey,
get the
welcome
video
to the
game
session.
sound and everything, man. Yes, sir.
To
Yes,
the
sir.
session.
I know you
Group
first
therapy.
generation gamer. I know you played Atari 2600, Eddie.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I go way back. Centipede, you name it, man. Gallagher, I go way back.
Dig Dug, Galaga.
Nah,
Big Doug,
he's
Donkey Kong. Come on, let's call it.
Oh, that was next generation. You Space Invaders.
Galaga.
Yeah, man.
All right. Talk about your decision to live in forgiveness. What caused that?
Well, shout out to Tim and everybody who's on the line that's that's calling up to talk about their experience. Mine in particular, I spent 12 years as a pastor. I'm no longer pastoring now, but not for anything that's terrible or anything of that nature. I had to learn how, as you know, as pastoring, I'm not sure if it's anyone know, but as a pastor, it's a very stressful job. And you deal with so many opinions about your job and same thing, all those things. I was very young at the time when I started being a pastor, and I had not learned the process of forgiveness. Whenever a congregation, a member would challenge me, things that I had not learned how to let that go when it happened to me. And so they didn't know I held on to it, but I held on to it for a long time too. It was really starting to affect not only myself, but it was affecting my family and everybody around me. But I was conscious enough to catch it at the time. And so I went and sought therapy for it. And therapy has been awesome for me, learning how to forgive and stay in that realm of forgiving has been great for my mental health. Guys, I had to let you know, I'm on my job. I had to stop mowing the yard just so I can get off the riding lawnmower to talk to you. So just
well, listen, man. Just in theme, we forgive you for your horrible connection. But go ahead, continue. Eddie.
Oh my!
You know what? That might be because I got these noise canceling headphones on. That might be what it is.
No problem. I'm just in theme, brother. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I know you are. I've been listening to you for a while, busting people's balls, man. I got you.
Oh, damn. Oh,
my God.
Hello. Let me back off the mic. All right. But go ahead. So about what you're saying, David.
I love that you talked about therapy and how that helped you as it relates to forgiveness. What I would want to know is, was there something specific the therapist did or talked about that helped you? Or was it just being able to talk about those things?
No, it was just actually me being able to pour out and her actually listening. And matter of fact, I think in our conversation along the way, she heard that I had already started the process of learning how to do it a lot better. And I fell in love with the process of doing not only the process, I just fell in love with forgiving and how good it felt. Because, when you're in that particular environment where your body's just not acting right, your mind is not right because of the unforgiveness, it's a feeling. I think you're chemically off balance a little bit. And so it just didn't feel good for me on the inside. It didn't feel good for me in my mental space. And once I learned how to forgive and do a lot of other great things, then I became a totally different person. And that different person has been good for my family. My marriage of 23 years is even stronger than it's ever been before. My relationship with my children was great. Has been better than it always. It already was great. It's even that much greater because I learned how to forgive and get my mental space situated better. And so I'm grateful for all of that, man. And, so I'll shout out to Chris Rock for that, living in forgiveness. I haven't always done it, but for the last 4 years, that's what I live in, forgiveness, because I know it's better for me and my love state.
Do you? Well, so I'm thinking about what you said, and thank you for sharing. David, do you think sometimes when someone does something to you and you're challenged with this, you have this opportunity to forgive, do you have to look back at yourself and say, what part do I play in this?
Man, you are absolutely. I actually wrote that down on my phone. There are some things I've done that were unintentional. I didn't mean to do it.
Yes.
I didn't even know I did it.
That's why I'm asking. Yep.
Yeah, because sometimes people are upset with you for things you don't even know you did.
Yeah.
Like, you walked in the room, you didn't even say what's up to me. Well, my bad, I was on my phone. I didn't even know you walked in the room, right? And people be upset with you about things that you have no idea about. So you bring up a great point. Also, too, as much as I need to work on forgiving people, I also need forgiveness from other people. I've done some things in my life, man, that was trifling, especially in my 20s and 30s in relationships and stuff like that. I was trifling, you know what I mean? Super trifling, some things I've done. And so that helps me a little bit when I think about all the things I've done to people.
Yeah.
Just being immature and silly and stupid and whatever else I was at that time of my life. And so in asking for forgiveness from those people, I remember in high school, after high school, I wrote a letter to this person that I used to just tease for no reason to make my friends laugh. And so I used to just tease her for absolutely no reason at all. I had to write her a letter and say, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was wrong. I was trifling. I'm immature, had nothing to do with you. I just wanted people to laugh. And so whatever I had to do to make people laugh is what I did. And I was sorry for that. So there's a lot of people I've harmed myself in my life. But still, it's interesting. When people harm you, it's really hard to let go. But when you harm someone else, it's like, man, I'm sorry. And you expect them to forgive you so quickly.
And they may not always receive that. They may not be where you are and want to forgive you. But it's still important that you wrote that letter, right? Did she respond?
She did. She responded. She was so gracious and kind to me. I was not deserving of her kindness, if I'm being honest with you. There was this other person in middle school I used to tease for no reason. Again, this like maybe 5th grade or something like that. And I never could find him to tell him I was sorry. But that wore on me for years about how I affected his life by just teasing him in the 5th grade. Just being a silly little kid, not knowing the effects you're having on other people. But the things you say to people at your job, the things you say to people within your family, man, it has effects. It has effects on them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so watch your words with people. Encourage people. Don't tear them down like I did, man. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. If anyone I've ever talked to crazy in my life from my past, friendships, relationships, whatever it may be, man, I apologize to all of y'all. I was in a bad space, man.
Wow, man. Get that around. I know
Wow,
Chris,
may I say
Chris
something
is
else, you don't
honking his
mind?
horn right now, man.
Right. Said
Chris honking his horn right now.
Caller trying to say something this way. Chris, honk.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Just quickly, thank you, Dr. Weber, for that. But that's true. But one of the things I've learned, I've sought out forgiveness for some of the things I've done from people. I have not always gotten it whatsoever. But once I made the decision to ask for forgiveness, even though I didn't get it, I was just happy the fact that I made that attempt to get that forgiveness, and I was settled with that because I realized I'd done my part to get that forgiveness. Maybe one day they will, maybe one day they won't. Who knows? But I'm okay with the fact that I reached out to say, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize if I've done anything. You don't have to forgive me for it. But if you do, that's good. If you don't, I'm good at where I'm at right now.
There you go. Hey, Eddie, man, we really appreciate you
Yes,
calling
we
in,
do.
man. Welcome to the
No,
family, brother.
man.
We appreciate
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
You're a
Eddie.
super citizen,
way
family.
in the
Super
morning.
citizen, man.
Can I share?
Appreciate that, man. I wear it with honor.
Thank you, sir.
that's
Thank you,
dope.
We
man.
love
Have
you,
a great
Eddie.
day. Go ahead, Tracy.
Yo, David, let me admit a quick pet peeve with you. And that is when someone is apologizing to you and they say, I apologize if I offended.
Right.
To me, it feels like it creates a little bit of space, a buffer between them and full accountability, because it's like, we all know that I was offended. You know, why
Right.
not apologize for offending me, for hurting the feelings? Do those little tweaks in language matter, or am I taking something small and making it big?
No, you're 100% right. If I'm indeed sorry for what I did, there is no if I hurt you.
Yeah.
I know
There's
I
no
hurt
doubt.
you. I know what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
And you used a great word, buffering. There's some distancing between me and what I did. So I use language to distance myself from having full accountability for what I did. So, hey, I'm sorry if I hurt you. I apologize if I offended. No, listen, I know what I did was wrong and trifling. I'm sorry for what I did. Is there any way I can make up for? There may not be. What do you need from me? How can I make things right? Do you need space? Do you need, like, what do you need from me? Is a real apology. At the same time, if we're expecting a real apology from people who've hurt us, oftentimes we don't get that at all.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great question, Tracy. We have Cole on the line from Michigan. Cole,
Cole.
welcome
What
to the
up,
show.
Cole? Love that new joint, baby.
No, that's not J. Cole. That's just Cole, Tracy.
Oh, okay. Dang, I got hype.
Okay. Love you too, Cole. I need you to speak up a little on your phone. I'm not sure what I'm hearing right now. Cole?
There you go. Does that sound better? I took you off speaker.
Oh, man. That's amazing, bro.
Sway's whole brain relaxed.
Oh, my God. I forgive you for being on speaker. All right.
Sway.
Talk to us, Cole.
I'm still a work in progress, but I was molested when I was 6, and it wasn't even as much about forgiving the other person, but just forgiving myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's still a work.
what-
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
But usually children are, when that happens, and God bless you, I'm sorry to hear that happen.
Yeah.
It's usually somebody, obviously it's somebody you know. Typically it's a family member that you got to live with. Beyond that, and the kid is living in trauma, fear, and a lot of times people don't listen to the kid when they say, Uncle so-and-so did this to me, right?
Exactly.
What was your dynamic, Cole, in this, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an older family member, an older cousin,
Mm.
and it even came out in the family, and my parents and his parents, they tried to deal with it, and nothing ever really happened. And I'm not mad at them because I know that they didn't have the tools to be able to deal with a situation like that. So I don't have any like bad feelings toward like my aunt and uncle or my mom and dad because they didn't understand. So they thought it was like gayness, and I was too afraid to talk about it, and so it never really came out. And the thing that I feel the worst about was, man, that guy went on to work at a daycare, and I hold a lot of I hold a lot of really. I didn't know what I could do about it because it was years after the fact, and I still that one still fucks me up a lot, even more than like the thing happening itself was knowing that, man, he might have went on to hurt other people.
But you were a child, right? How old were you?
Yeah, I was 6.
6 years old.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could have done at 6 years old. The people who were supposed to protect you did not protect you. In other words, it's not your fault at all for what happened to you. We're talking about a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old.
Yeah.
So when you have a 6-year-old violated, there are a lot of adults that are around that knew something, saw something, something was off, something wasn't right, and they didn't protect you. That is not your fault. In any way, shape, or form, that is not your fault. There are many stories I hear of people being molested from family members, and they blame themselves. And I could have done this differently, or maybe I should have told my. You're 6, or you're 9, or you're 12. You're a kid, and so as a kid, there's only so much you can do. It's the responsibility of the parents to protect the children. Let me say this too, to all the families out there. I don't want to get emotional. To all the families out there who harbor people in your own family because you don't want Uncle so-and-so going back to prison and you know what they're doing to the children, shame on you. You all know what's going on in that family. You know what's going on in the family. And y'all protect and harbor predators within your own family because of reputation. And we don't want the community or the family or people knowing about Uncle so-and-so, so everyone hides it. So to all of you people, adults who have been molested or raped as children, and your parents or your grandparents or your uncles and aunts hid it from the rest of the family or hid it from the authorities, that is not your fault. That's their fault. They're wrong. They are wrong. 100% wrong, and it's not something you should carry.
When I listen to Cole, I want to say thank you because you're already doing work by telling your story on this platform.
Yes.
Where there's hundreds of thousands of people tuned in who are going through or have gone through the same thing that you have. And so I want to say salute to you for sharing this story, and I can hear the pain that's still in you. And I want to ask David, when I hear Cole say, man, I feel bad because this guy went on to work at a daycare.
Wow.
His sins are not your burden.
Correct.
Number one. His sins are not your burden.
Yep.
You know, whatever that guilt
That's
is
real.
that he may feel, what would you say to Cole about that?
Man, Cole, listen, if you can, man, I would like to personally help you. Hit me up on Instagram, DavidWeber_LPC. I'm going to get you some resources in your area. I would love to hook you up with a therapist if you're not in the states that I'm licensed. If you are in the states I'm licensed, I'll do it myself. But I want to get you some help because it's not your fault. And you're carrying something that does not belong to you. You're carrying something that does not belong to you. That belongs to him. That belongs to him. That's his sins. That's his triflingness. That belongs to him. It does not belong to you. I want to get you the help that you need.
Let's get his information. Are you interested in that, Cole? Would you receive that?
Yes, 100%. I was about to write
Awesome.
down like your Instagram and everything.
Amen.
Please do. I'll give you a call today. DavidWeber_LPC, and we'll figure this thing out together.
And then Lonnie Light got your phone number. We're going to make sure David Weber has your information. Okay?
Wow.
Awesome.
All right, Cole?
Thank you guys
Thank you,
so
Cole.
much. I really appreciate you letting me share.
You man, you family, Cole.
You know, Cole, thank you, because when I listen to Cole talk, David, it's so interesting because as a woman, we hear so many of our girlfriends or female family members talk about molestation, but it just sounds so different when it's coming from a male.
Yeah.
It just does. And I can't imagine men who have experienced this, how as an adult or even a teenager or a young man in his 20s move forward in relationships, healthy relationships. What could that possibly do to you to know that you were violated as a child? And at 6 or 7 or 9 or 12, the ages that you mentioned, you don't even really know how to tell on something. Like that person or that predator could have said, if you tell such and such and such, or your mind will start to think, well, if I do this or if I do that, then maybe people protect their predator. Or, it's it's a lot of men who are dealing with that. Can you speak to some of the men who may be dealing with that? And do you think it has an effect on their relationships moving forward?
Absolutely. Shame is there's a difference between shame and guilt. And Brene Brown talks about this. Guilt is I did something bad. Shame is I am bad. So shame is like you're internalizing something as you being not good enough, you being not worthy. And so when you carry the shame of someone touching you or someone molesting you, whatever it may be, that's a hard story to tell. And so she talks about shame needs secrecy and silence in order for it to grow. And so when I don't talk about it, when I don't tell anyone about it, the shame grows. And so now in this area that I'm dealing with, as it relates to being touched or molested by someone else, I don't talk about it. I don't share my story with my friends. No one else knows about it. And so that shame grows more and more and more. And it absolutely affects me in my relationships, in my friendships, and everything else. And I'm blaming myself for something I didn't do. That was a grown adult doing that to you. That had nothing to do with you, right? And then you're right. They'll do things like they'll threaten you, right? Your mom's gonna go to jail, or your dad's gonna go to jail, or I'm gonna kill them. They say all types of stuff. I'm gonna kill your dad. I'll kill your mom. I'll kill you if you tell somebody. Threatening a 6 or 7-year-old and saying I'm gonna kill you. You know how terrifying that is.
They're living in a nightmare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so so for those children who are now adults who've experienced, and children even now who are experiencing those things, you're just doing your best with the information that you have. What information does a 6-year-old have? All they know is, my parent maybe or my grandparent. Is that a safe place to share? And sometimes it may not be safe. Or sometimes you go to your mom and she says, shh, be quiet, don't talk about that.
Yeah. And that's the age where you like secrets. Believe it or not, like, you like the secret. I have a secret. And they play to their, they're not knowing.
Yes.
You know?
And lastly, how confusing is it for a child, for those children who've experienced something sexual and they sort of it feels okay. They're not sure. They don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's confusing.
Yeah.
No one's supposed to be touching. Listen, no one's supposed to touch a 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15. You're not supposed to touch them at all. So when someone touches you and suddenly that feels decent or okay or you kind of like it, that's confusing.
Yeah.
And so now I'm blaming myself because I like something that I was never supposed to know existed at that age.
And you know it's wrong.
And you know it's wrong, but then he's telling you it's not wrong. Like, anyway, it's as you can tell,
it's
this
complicated.
gets me fired up.
I
hear so many stories, and particularly from men. Oh my goodness, the shame is unbelievable.
Hey, Cole, thank you, brother.
Yeah,
You're a healer. You healing others through your healing.
Yes.
Definitely, we got your information, and I would love for you and David Weber to connect, brother. All right?
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I love you guys.
We love you.
You too, brother. You a citizen.
Sway in the morning.
Yes, he is.
Man, listen, we got a lot of people on the phone lines. Alfred in Arizona, Boris, Angel in Nebraska, Jonathan in Cali, Kurt, San Diego, Donald in Texas, Casey in Atlanta, Kent in Canada. All of these people have stories to tell.
Yeah.
We're going to send them to our email, Tracy G. Where can they hit us at?
Yes, citizens, the email is always available to you at every hour, whether it's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. swayinthemorninglove@gmail.com. swayinthemorninglove@gmail.com. There is no word count. That email will not expire, so feel free to share your stories there.
Tracy, thank you for that celebrity wire. Y'all can hit her up directly.
Yeah, no problem. Citizens, hit me up at It's Tracy G, ITSTRACYG.
Coming right back is Shade 45. And let me say this, man. Total transparency, man. This dude flies himself to where we are.
Yeah.
You know, you don't ask me for anything, just the opportunity to talk to y'all. So I want to say I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
You spent a lot of time to study your profession, and you spent a lot of money to get, degreed and everything. And so for you to offer this to the citizens like this
So
is
generous.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's not even sending invoices
Yeah.
till after the first session.
He's at Real Sway, David. At Real Sway on the gram.
What?
To send an invoice.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Sway in the morning, no love at gmail.com.
No love. No.
You know what,
Send
Heather?
it.
Yeah, I forgive you, Heather. I forgive you, Tracy.
Aw.
All right,
Wow.
great. David Weber, how can they reach you again?
Please reach out to me at David Weber. That's WEBBER _LPC. On Instagram, I'm gonna hit you up today. As soon as I get back to the crib, so please hit me up today.
Beautiful.
All right?
That's what's up.